Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. It's a little loud, get over it. We got Jimmy today with a deck profile. Last week, Jimmy won with GT Goku. We didn't have time to record it, so here's the profile for it. Oh yeah, there's buttons below. Feel free to click it, it's there for a reason. Also, I apologize, it's loud.
Alright, so I've been playing
GT. Hang on, I was expecting the phone to still be there. It threw me off.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Bandai banning my favorite card in the game, so fuck you Bandai, I'm still keeping this on me. So I've been playing GT. I've been absolutely in love with this deck for the past couple weeks. I was kind of like on it because everybody at the shop said they were going to play it, so I was didn't want to follow the bandwagon, but not a lot of people actually played the list, so I decided to build it, and I've been really enjoying it. I've kind of become like the token black player at the shop, as most people like to say, and Fluff told me I'm not allowed to play black anymore. But historically, I'm a red player, and I really enjoy playing red, so it's been fun to go back to it. So GT Goku leader. The front side is just significantly better than the back side. So you start out with your spaceship, which we'll get into that in a moment, and then auto on attack, you will put a Saiyan card under your spaceship and draw 2 cards, awaken at 7 markers on your unison, or if you have 4 or less life, draw 2, take yourself down to 6. The backside is just, it doesn't really do anything. It's just a 15k that draws you 1. Drawing 2 cards is a lot better, especially since you want your Saiyans under your spaceship in the first place. So it lets you cycle out the cards that are kind of useless in your hand for better cards on the backside or on the front side. You can replace your spaceship if it gets placed in the drop area, which people will gun for the spaceship sometimes. Sometimes they will just let it be. It really depends on the matchup. And then activate main, Spirit Boost 10, doesn't really come up. In my original list, it did come up because I ran the Hyper Evo Secret Rare, which I still really love the Secret Rare, but it's just bad, just straight up. But I really wanted to play it my first run through. I do play a different Secret Rare now, so the activate main does not come up often. So usually I'm staying on the front side of my leader for the majority of the game.
You can get a match this week where you were kind of on that for a while until you felt like you had to go.
Yeah, my game on camera, I stayed on my front side like the entirety of the game. And then when I flipped over to the backside, it was kind of like inconsequential. I basically just did it for a draw 2. But getting into the list, the heart and soul of the deck, the Spaceship. So it's in power 10. You're not really going to be replacing this card a lot, but if you have to, if it has 4 or more markers when it comes in, you give a card plus 5k and you draw a card, which is nice, but most of the time you're just going to want to keep the 1 in play. And then the activate main, you'll put a Saiyan under this card, draw 1 card, and then you'll add a marker up to 3 for every Saiyan underneath this. And it has a permanent that cannot attack. I do run 2 in the list, mainly because you never know if your opponent's going to like warp out with Kai or something like that. Kai is a big problem against this deck. If your opponent drops that, and if you don't have a quick replacement or like one of your overwhelms or like a Champa in hand, you're really playing an uphill battle because all your cards just cost an absurd amount without having them under the spaceship. So in a perfect world, I would only run 1. In this world, I run 2. I might sideboard a 3rd one just in case the Kai hate or the Unison hate gets a little too heavy, but it's been pretty okay. For our GT package, I run 3 of the 1-drops. So this guy is top 5 searcher, and then activate main. You can put him under Unison and add a marker. So great turn 1 play. We do have a better option for a turn 1 play, which is our setting forth to space. So this is you choose one of your Unison cards, obviously Spaceship. You draw a card. Put any Saiyan from your deck under the spaceship, and then you add a marker to it. So this is your better setup play. The Goku is good. It is good in. See me. The Goku is good in some situations if you just really need to search out a specific Saiyan, but most of the time I just prefer to play this. This does have combo power, so that's why they're split like this. I have considered running the Trunks because I think the Trunks is just a flat draw one and then has the same thing. So I might consider going to the Trunks over this guy because I do not run a Saiyan Secret Rare. Spoiler alert. If I ran SSB Vegeta, I would definitely run this card over Trunks to search out my Secret Rare. All right, he can't grab the Secret Rare. Ignore everything I just said. Yeah. But these are your turn 1 plays. You want to see these in your opening hand. Pan, this card I was super down on in the beginning, but kind of won me over. She's a blocker. She spirit boosts herself out for 1 from under your Unison, and then you can tap 2, I'm sorry, to play a Goku GT and a Trunks GT from under your Unison with 15 carry or less power. So at first I was like just super down on this card until I started playing it, and I was like, hey, this card is actually kind of good in conjunction with your GT Goku and your Trunks. These are your best targets for it, especially early game. So Battle Planet M2, he is a crit body. He can evolve on top of the GT Goku, which is nice. I have considered bumping this up to 4, but just to get value off of the evolve on the 1-drop. But most of the time I'm just shipping the 1-drop under the Unison and just playing this off of Pan, so I don't know. I don't think I like the ratios on this. I don't think I'll be changing much. But auto limit 1, you choose one of your Unisons, put a Saiyan under it, you draw a card, add a marker to it. Pretty simple. It also has the activate main of limit 1. You can play it out from under your Unison if your opponent has 2 or more energy, or if you have 2 or more energy. I apologize. And then IPT, just a classic card. Swing, take a life, gain 10k and crit. Fantastic turn 2 play. Drop Pan, tap yourself out, play Goku, play Trunks, swing crit, and then you still have a blocker up if your opponent tries to hammer you or punish you for that. Plus you get to pick up a life here, which is nice, especially since you take yourself down to 6. You can take yourself down to 5 and then pick up your life with like a testing the op or something of that nature for yourself for your getting down to 4 for a super combo. But we don't play a life super combo in this list. Spoiler alert. Another Trunks option. This guy, like, the more and more I play him, the more I like him, and the less I like him. So he's a barrier, which is why I like him. He's a 15k barrier body. There's a lot of removal in this meta, so having a body you can just throw on field and just kind of set on is really, really nice. Forces your opponent to attack into him. While he's in rest mode, your opponent cannot attack your Unison card. And then auto, he negs something at 10k, which is kind of lackluster. And then he has the skill that if your opponent has 1 or more energy, you can play him, which is kind of different from the others. But he is both my favorite and my least favorite card in the GT lineup. 3 of the Soaring Through Space. This is arguably my favorite. I see a lot of people only running 2 of these. I don't know why. I've actually considered going up to 4, but I feel like 3 is a good number. And the reason they're all at 3 is because of this card. So when he comes in, he decks something 20k. 20k is kind of a relevant number right now. And then on swing, you can choose a Saiyan from your drop area or hand and place it under your Unison. So you can recycle cards if your opponent's removing like your Pans or your Battle Planet M2s. You can just keep recycling him, which is really, really nice. And it also has the activate main for 1. So you see where this deck going. Lots of aggro, lots of playing cards for cheap and swinging out. For our boss monster, run the trios. This card rarely gets played, actually. It's Deflect. You can tap 3 to play it from under the Unison. You can Spirit Boost 3 to neg your opponent's field by 30, and he gains triple attack, which 30k triple attack is nothing to sneeze at. And then as the activate main, that you can put this under your Unison from your hand or battle area and add a marker to the card. So again, if you open with this in a pinch, you can just pitch it under your Unison just to add a marker. But most of the time I'm just pitching this for either my leader ability or my Unison ability just to get draws. Since past like turn 2, you don't have to worry about markers on your Unison. Chain Attack Bardock, you have a lot of Saiyans in this deck, and this card is just absolutely busted. If you it's a bond 3, gains crit and 11,000, making 15k crit. And then on swing, he negs 4,000 for every Saiyan in play, which is just disgusting. I've considered going to 4 on this because there's been a lot of games where I get to like 5 energy and I have 3 of these in hand and I can just slam, swing, slam, swing, slam, swing. And it's kind of gross. So I'm really considering going to 4 on this guy. Just fantastic card for the list. One hit wonder, you're doing a lot of negging, so getting a free play is kind of nice, and it's plus it's another Saiyan that you can pitch if you really need to. Same with the Vegeta, so we do have some Spirit Boost options, and getting a free crit is always nice. Even at 15k, it's just a free card. The best play with this is on your turn 2 play with Pan. Since you Spirit Boost her out, you slam this, then you play Trunks and then Goku, and now you have 3 crit 15k attacks, which is just kind of disgusting. Especially on turn 2, because most of the time your opponent's going to like tap out, or they don't want to expend every card in their hand to not just, you know, take all that damage. King Piccolo, double strike 20k. It's nice surprise card, good pressure, good for clearing unisons if you really need to. I like saving this towards like the late game and force my opponents to either counterplay it or just combo out of the big attack,
Or just take the 2 damage.
or just take the 2 damage and die. Same with Man on a Mission, double strike crit, good card. Stop banning the cards out, like, please, Bandai. One card that just shouldn't be in the deck, but I love it too much to take it out. Triple Flash, EX Evolve on top of a Goku 5 or more. Draw 2 cards, deflect, triple strike. If his power is 40k or more, your opponent can't counterattack. He's not hitting 40k or more. You can do it like off of your leader, plus like playing a unison with 4 markers on it, but it's just, I like the card, and sometimes I can swing twice with my big boy, drop this on top of it, and swing a triple strike, which is cutesy, but I would not suggest running this card if you're trying to play this competitively. Just take it out for something better. Speaking of something better, holy shit, difference of status, this card is busted. Ignore the ugly art, I'm working on getting my 3rd. So counterattack, this card is just absolutely abusive. Spirit Boost X, you're gonna have 1,000 markers, so this card just can neg out anything. So it's just a straight 0 neg 5. Then you can, you know, Spirit Boost to neg out the rest of the card, and those are both targetable. So you can target one card to neg 5 and then target another to neg out the rest, which is just absolutely disgusting. I did run this at a 2 of. I was seeing too many games where I was holding on to it because I was scared of using it and then putting myself in bad situations. So I bumped it up to 3, and then I run 1 in the sideboard, so that if I really need it, I can bring it in and I can difference the status on pretty much anything. And don't really worry about dumping a lot of markers into this, because most of the time your opponent like is expending a, you know, big attack somewhere. So they usually don't have a follow-up to finish off your unison after you dump a lot of markers into difference of status. This card's just absolutely abusive, and I love it. Opposing Presence, good for wide boards. Was really good against my match against AOD. It's a free play if you have 3 or less life. It's just one of the better red counterattacks. Red counterattacks, testing out cards. Every color has one now. You just have to play them. They're so good. Now that Piccolo Jr. is gone, these cards just run wild. 3 Yamcha. I would run a 4th. That's probably where my 7 drop, the fucking triple flash, will probably become another Yamcha. Your unison's live on turn 1. You're gonna have 2 markers the entire game. This card is just...
Yes. Thank you both as well.
Take
Hey,
care,
have a
guys.
good one, Buzz.
Thanks for coming out.
Real. So, other than the weird ruling with counter window 1 and 2, this card is just still busted in the deck. It's live from turn 1, and you can kind of do some really, really annoying plays with this card, so definitely worth running. Definitely worth running at a 4. Don't be like me and want to run shitty cards just for the sake of running shitty cards. Resolve Renewed, this stops a lot of annoying floodgates. I have not run into the Finn matchup, but the 2-drop Finn is a 15k, so you can just get rid of it on play, and so they can't steal your Unison. Not much to say about it. This card's just really, really good in red right now. So a couple of techs, I kind of borrowed a lot of stuff from the topping list as of late. So these are a few techs that I've picked up from them, and I really enjoy them. I think this is just like the best way to run the deck at this moment. But the Bunny Girl package. So you do run some Earthlings in the list. You run your Trunks and your Pan and Yamchas. Your opponent's usually pretty apt to removing the Pan. So being able to just slam a Bunny Girl, and she's a 1k blocker that will play a 4 or less Earthling from the drop area. And it has to be Earthling only, which we will get into here. So you can play your Yamcha, but that's not the best option. The best option is actually our super combo of choice, the Krillin. So he is he's live from turn 1 because if you have a Unison, he's live and he draws you a card on combo. The Rejuvenate text, just completely ignore it. It does not matter, but he is a Earthling, and he's a 15k Earthling to boot. So you want to kind of expend a Krillin early, preferably on like one of your crit attacks to force your opponent into taking the crit. Then later on, when they remove your Yamcha or one of your Trunks, if they can ignore barrier, most of the time it's the Pan. You slam Bunny Girl, play your super combo back out, and you get to recycle this, which is just a really strong play. And with a lot of big boss monsters running around right now that will KO the field, you can either do this to have like good combo defense, or something I like to do in my sideboard is I run the 3-drop Videl counterplay. So you don't get to play it for free in the deck because you have to have a specified 3-cost Unison, but the auto is not tied to the counterplay. So you can pitch off that Videl early on, and in stuff like Gamma, when they drop the big 9-drop cell on you, you can Bunny Girl pull out the Videl and basically make that a null and void card. I think this is a really strong package. I think 2 and 3 is a good split, because I run a 4 super combo, which is the new Vegeta multicolor. This card was like, the one I made fun of the most out of the entire list. I thought this card was absolute trash until I actually played it, and it completely won me over. So if you believe your card is red or green, when you combo with this guy, you just make a Cyberman token that is unique and blocker, so can trip you up. But the best way to play this, in my opinion, is just super combo. You play your token, and then just combo off the token. And it basically becomes like the Black Bibbidi super combo, which goes up to a 15k super combo. So this can be a difference maker in a lot of attacks, especially if you're losing by 5k combo a lot, or miscomboing. It's good for going for game because you get to slam it, get an extra 5k combo. It's good for big wide boards because you can super combo out of something, play a blocker token, and then block with the next attack. I would not play more than one, but I do think this is like really, really strong in this list. Of course, Champa, if it's a deck by me, it has Champa in it. If it doesn't, it's because I forgot to put it in the list.
It's not even French.
That one's not in French because most of the deck's shiny. I'm still working on shining this deck out. And then Kai. So there's a lot of Unison lists going around our shop right now. So I feel like being able to just clear off a Unison with Kai is a lot more valuable than clearing off the Unison with SSB Vegeta. Also, I don't have it SSB Vegeta. I know I could borrow one from somebody at the shop, but I still prefer Kai overall because it stops the Unisons from being able to attack, which is more important to me than being able to do all the burn damage and clear. I do think if you're playing this deck competitively in like a regional scene of some sort, I do think that you should run SSB Vegeta. But for me personally, at my locals, I think Kai is the better option of the two.
So, awesome. Appreciate it, Jimmy. Like always, buttons down below. Feel free to click them. They're there for a reason. And there's a place to put comments. Will you read them?
No, we don't.
I try my best. Read your cards, there your plays, and fluff out.